Well, good morning, my friend. Monday morning. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you along with me this morning as we start the week out. I hope you had a wonderful weekend in church. We had a great day on Sunday, all day here at Maranatha Baptist Church, watching the Lord work. Man, people say baptized, watching the altars filled, lives being changed. It's all be a part of the miracle of Maranatha Baptist Church. It is truly a miracle what God is doing here. And yes, it is an honor of of God's people working, just following what God tells us to do. But the fact that God works, it's always a miracle. I never take that for granted. And it's always good to be a part of it, to see the church house packed out, nothing special going on. Several people out of town already on vacation, and yet a packed out auditorium. Yesterday morning, even last night, it was full last night. And just to see the Lord work here is truly exciting to me. And to see that God can still do it in 2022. Boy, he certainly can. And I'm thrilled about that. Well, this morning, as I want to just point out to you about the importance of works. In John chapter 10, verses 37 through 38, the scripture says, "If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe not me, believe the works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him." Now, many have bragged and continue to brag about all that they can do. But what you say and whether you can do it is what defines whether God's hand is on your life or not. As a pastor, I often have people come and tell me when they join my church about what they're capable of doing. But very few have ever followed through with what they say they can do. I've learned that it doesn't really matter how much a person talks about their abilities, but the best way to choose people is to lead is to let their accomplishments speak for themselves. As Jesus spoke to those who hated them, he told them that if they're not going to believe him for who he says he is, then they should believe him because of his works. Jesus understood that they could not deny that he was the Son of God. They could deny it, but they couldn't deny the works that he did. Jesus' enemies could not deny that he had healed the blind, fed the thousands, raised the dead, cast out the devils, caused the deaf to hear, and so much more. You see, these enemies had no answer for the works of Christ because his works testified that the Father was working through him. They had a hard time. How do you talk against that? Though what Jesus said about himself was true, it was his works that validated what he said about himself. Now, the one thing that causes many to believe that God is using you is not what you believe, but what God is doing through you. People may not believe what you teach and preach. In fact, they may not even like it, but they cannot deny the lives being changed through your ministry if you're reaching the lost. The importance of having works in your life and ministry cannot be overemphasized because the works validate God's hand on your life and ministry. Now, there's two things the word works is talking about. First, works is talking about accomplishments. You're going to have a hard time getting people to follow you if you have no accomplishments to show for yourself. Talk all you want, but accomplishments won't come without hard work. To say you're going to do something and then actually accomplish it is what silences the enemy and convinces those who are watching your work. A church without any accomplishments is a dead church. A missionary who has no accomplishments to talk about in their monthly newsletter is a missionary not worthy of supporting. If you are working, you're going to have accomplished something that is worthy talking about. I get weary of getting missionary letters, of talking about everything else, all the conferences they're preaching in, everything they're learning in the Bible, all that their family is doing, but never talking about one time someone's been saved, one time that they've witnessed to somebody's life being changed. Listen to me, I don't need to know about Uncle Fred and Aunt Sue. I need to see what God's doing through your life. That's what we need to see. Second, the works are miraculous. The works are miraculous. One thing that separates you from most are the miracles that God's doing through your life and ministry. People can't deny when God's doing something miraculous through your life. Accomplishments come through hard work, but the miraculous comes by faith, hard work, and prayer. Work will take you so far, but at some point, you have to spend time in prayer, getting God's power on your life so that he can do the miraculous through you. Those who do not like you cannot deny when God is working the miraculous through you. They can attack you, and they can attack what you say and believe, but the miraculous silences the critics because they can't deny what God's doing through you. Now, if people are looking at your works, can they see accomplishments and the miraculous? You'll only be able to silence your critics and draw people towards your ministry when they see the accomplishments and the miraculous. When I became pastor here at Maranatha Baptist Church, there were many that didn't think that I would ever build a church here. They said, "Oh, Domley's too hard of a preacher. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Now that God's doing something here, I've had some call me up and apologize. Say, "Brother Dom, we were wrong what we said about you." Now, why they said anything is beyond my imagination, because truth is truth, whether or not somebody's accomplished it or not. Now, I know accomplishments validate what you say. There's plenty out there who don't like me, but one thing they can't say: how do you deny what God's doing? You can. Last night I was talking to somebody who's visiting our church from out of state. They said that they told somebody to come to our church because they'll be accepted, because this is a church that has a lot of young Christians who are growing in the Lord. That was a great statement to say. Our auditorium was filled last night, and many of those who are in our auditorium are people that have been saved in the time since I've been pastor here at Maranatha Baptist Church. God's changing lives. Now, my friend, we can talk all we want. Stop talking about what you can do. Get out there and work. Let the works validate what you say. People can't deny that. When they see God doing something, you'll be surprised. People are going to want to come because they want to be at a place where God is working, because people want God to work through their lives. So you got to get busy. There's no secret. God will use anybody, and God will work through anybody. But the people that God works through are those who are working and doing the works that God can work through, and those who are praying for God to do something through them. That's the one that God works through. My friend, your works are important. Stop cutting back on the works. Cut back on the playtime. How about that? And get busy working, doing something for God, and watch God work through you. And that's what silences the critics. Well, I hope this is a help to you today. Now, remember today, hey, let's be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.